valued viewers, I hope you're all doing very well and welcome to a really exciting and really important piece of history. I bring you to the Falklands War, 21st of May 1982, the day known to the British commanders as D-Day +0. This was the day when the first phase of the British amphibious group landed in San Carlos waters. Today we want to reenact several parts of this day from different perspectives. We're going to reenact it from the Argentinian attack aircraft, then we're going to reenact it from the British defenders, the Sea Harriers, and then we're going to reenact it as the often forgotten but hugely historically important helicopters operating on behalf of the amphibious force. Now we're going to do those reenactments, but before we do them we really need to learn about exactly what happened on that day. So we're going to spend 10 minutes going through all of the units and through the timeline. If you don't want to know the history, then you're welcome to skip to the more exciting parts of the video, but I suggest you stay. First, I've been reading more books on the Falklands lately, and the more I read, the more interesting I become, and I've been trying to figure out what it is about this conflict that I'm so interested in, and I think I found the reason, and that is this war was absolutely not one-sided. My original thought about the Falklands War was it was easy, it was a walkover. We had the more modern jets, we had the more modern ships, but the realities are, if you go into the nitty-gritty of it, there were so many times during the few weeks of the war that Britain could have lost, and the more I dig, the more I find, well, what if this bit had just changed a tiny bit, then this many men would have been taken out and the British would have had to retreat and the Argentinians would have won. Today we're looking at just one of those times when Britain could have lost the war. So first, we rewind a few weeks to understand how we got here. The British had to secure the water around the Falklands Islands. Before any amphibious group got here, the British sent a large carrier task force from Ascension Island, nearly 4,000 miles to the north, to secure a 200-mile exclusion ring around the Falklands Islands. In the subsequent days, a British submarine sunk the Argentinian cruiser Belgrano just outside of the exclusion zone. As a result, the Argentinian carrier Viento Cinco de Mayo, along with their escort ships, decided not to tackle the British carrier fleet. Instead, they returned to port. And on that day, essentially, the naval battle was won, the waters around Falklands were secure. It was now time to send in the first phase of the amphibious landing fleet. In early May, Phase 1 of the amphibious fleet sailed from Ascension. It took about 10 days to reach Falklands, and once they got here, it was decided that D-Day, the first day of the landings, would be the 21st of May. And the area to be landed in, after several diversion attacks, would be the San Carlos waters and the beaches around here. In the hours leading up to D-Day, though, several Argentinian stronghold positions around San Carlos waters had to be taken out. There were several Argentinian marine positions, the largest of which was at Fanning Head here. So in the hours before the 21st, helicopters sailing from British warships landed special forces to take out these elements. Most were defeated, though some did retreat into the mountains around San Carlos waters. This caused further problems in the next few days, of which we'll come back to in a bit. Overnight into the 21st of May, the amphibious fleet then sailed south and slid into the Falklands Sound to begin their landings. At this point, we really need to understand the layout of the units. First, the scope. We are just modelling what became known as Bomb Alley. If you look at this red square, that's what we're modelling. We're not modelling anything outside of it. Purely out of interest, the British also had picket ships, destroyers and frigates up here protecting the north entrance to the Sound. Also, a few other vessels in the Sound, and a southern picket too. 90 miles to the east was our carrier fleet, with carriers Invincible and Hermes and their escorts. As well as that, moving from Ascension to Falklands were straggling elements of Phase 1 and some of Phase 2. Next, the locations of the ships. This has caused a huge amount of friction in private between me and several other Grim Reapers members. We all disagree about where the British ships were on this day. The reason turned out to be that only some of the ships were anchored during that day. Most of the warships were on the move constantly, moving generally within Bomb Alley, but sometimes slightly out of Bomb Alley. So I've had to take a snapshot. My snapshot, I believe, is at 0930, where the ships were at that time. Now, it's important to say that as we move on to the attacks by the Argentinians, some of those flight lines will be slightly out of place because I've had to modify them for where the ships were at 0930. So just bear that in mind. So let's start at the bottom of Bomb Alley. We have HMS Ardent here, a Type 21 guided frigate. She was all the way down here south of the Sussex Mountains because she had to provide bombardment on Goose Green here. She attacked the runway here. The reason is that the Argentinians had 6 Pucará light attack aircraft and we had to stop them from attacking the fleet. As well as that, her bombardment had to stop a possible counter-attack by the Argentinian infantry from Goose Green. The Argentinians had a regiment of troops here at Goose Green and a counter-attack was a real danger. Previously, an element of SAS Special Forces was inserted around here to block any counter-attack. The counter-attack did materialise but was blocked by the SAS and the naval bombardment. Next was HMS Antrim, a County-class destroyer here. Next was Broadsword, a Type 22 frigate here. Next was a series of landing or amphibious ships. We had Sir Lancelot, Sir Geraint, Sir Percival. HMS Fearless here, and she was the headquarters for the first days of the landings, and HMS Intrepid here. The troops that were landed came in 2 elements. First was 3rd Brigade, followed a few days later by 5th Brigade. 3rd Brigade was around 2,000 men and was carried aboard requisitioned civilian ships, SS Canberra here, an ocean liner, and MV Nordland here. Aboard Canberra were the 3 Para Battalion of Parachute Regiment, as well as 40, 42 and 45 Commando Royal Marines. 2 Para were on Nordland here. In terms of where they were landed, several tactical beaches were chosen, 3 Para and 42 Commando Port San Carlos here. 4-5 Commando took Ajax Bay here, which will become a medical hub later on. 4-0 Commando took the San Carlos settlement here, and 2 Para took the southern waters here and secured the Sussex Mountains here. Once landed, all battalions secured a semicircle ring here until enough stores were ready to move out. The first to move out was of course 2 Para here, which attacked Goose Green here several days later. RFA Stromness was here. That was an auxiliary supply ship. Next, more combat ships. HMS Argonaut was a Leander guided frigate here. HMS Brilliant, a Type 21 frigate here. And to the north, HMS Yarmouth, Type 12 frigate here. Oh, and I've just realised I've missed HMS Plymouth, who got the short straw and was actually in San Carlos waters here. A Rothesay class frigate. Now, in terms of realism, most of these ship types I do not actually have in my sim viewers. To act as all of the warships, I'm using Leander class frigate. It does have guns of the time and obviously it has some guided missiles, Seacat missile here, so that will have to represent the various frigates and destroyers in Bomb Alley at the time. I think it will probably be near enough today, although we don't have Seawolf and we don't have Sea Dart missiles. In terms of the liners, we've just got these auxiliary type ships. And in terms of all landing ships, I've actually got a 1980s Russian landing ship here. By daybreak, the British had hoped for low cloud and fog to prevent Argentinian mainland launching anti-ship strikes by their aircraft, but there was no such luck. As sun broke, it was a beautiful, clear day, perfect for Argentinian attacks. The first attack at daybreak at 0950 was a reconnaissance flight from Port Stanley by an MB339, flown by pilot Creeper. On his shock of finding the unexpected fleet, rather than turning away, he bravely attacked and strafed HMS Argonaut, wounding 3 men and damaging the radar. You can see approached roughly here. On crossing Fanning Head, he saw the massive fleet in front of him that he simply wasn't expecting. Rather than turning away and running away like I would have, he attacked the fleet, attacking Argonaut here and then evading several other vessels as he weaved his way to get east back to his base. The first major attack from the mainland-based aircraft came around 10:30, with a formation of 8 Dagger fighter bombers based at Rio Grande in Argentina. One of the jets was shot down, either by Broadsword Seawolf system or a Seacat missile from HMS Plymouth. HMS Broadsword was struck by cannon fire, injuring more than a dozen men and damaging the ship's Lynx helicopters. The third Dagger of the group released a bomb that flew into the destroyer HMS Antrim's massive Sea Slug missile magazine, glancing off 2 missiles coming to rest in the heads nearby. Several fires had been started, so Antrim began to move closer to the other escorts for protection. She was struck again by cannon fire shortly after, starting more fires and injuring more sailors, and that was effectively the end of Antrim's participation on D-Day +0. She moved in towards the more sheltered San Carlos waters, while the bomb was removed through a hole cut in the flight deck and then lowered into the sea. She then sailed out to join a carrier group at sea to the east, leaving Type 22 frigate HMS Brilliant to direct the Sea Harriers. You can see the flight here. I've accredited the flight to Martinez. I apologise if I've got some of the names wrong. I found it hard to work out exactly who was the flight lead. But the daggers, 2x4, entered west here into the Sound. Several of them attacked Broadsword here, and the other flight attacked Antrim here, and then headed east and then back west. At around midday, 2 Pugadar aircraft did manage to take off from Goose Green. 3 Sea Harriers orbiting above Sharkey Ward's 801 Naval Air Squadron, based on HMS Invincible, were on patrol and caught the pair of Pugadars. One of the Pugadars was shot down. The second wave of mainland-based aircraft, 6 Skyhawks, attacked the warships around 12:30. One of the leading jets narrowly missed the frigate HMS Ardent with 2 bombs and then turned for home, followed by a pair of Sea Harriers from 800 Squadron based on HMS Hermes, which broke off the pursuit to tackle the 4 remaining incoming Skyhawks. The Argentine aircraft attempted to escape, but 2 were destroyed by Sidewinder air-to-air missiles. And if we go down, we can see this attack here. We're not sure who led it. 12:30. 2 flights of 3 Skyhawks attacked Ardent, but with little effect, headed west, and then 2 were shot down. The afternoon raids continue, with 6 more Skyhawks concentrating on HMS Argonaut. After several near misses, 2 bombs struck the frigate, and although they failed to explode, they killed 2 members of the ship's company. The ship's controls were damaged in the attack, and she was only stopped from running hard into the rocky shore by crew members who raced to let go of the anchor, bringing her to a halt just before she crashed. Soon after, she was left without power, but HMS Plymouth took her in tow and left her in the more sheltered spot near San Carlos Water, where she remained for around a week until the bombs could be removed and the damage repaired. Guys, that is this attack here, I believe led by Valesco, and we will be simulating this attack today. Approaching from north of the Sound here, somehow got past the picket line here, probably by a low level, around the point here, and then attacked Argonaut here before pulling away to the west. Another wave of jets now moved in to attack the British ships. 2 aborted their bombing runs, and 1 was shot down by a Sidewinder missile from a Sea Harrier of 800 Squadron, guided in by HMS Brilliant. But the remaining 3 attacked frigate HMS Ardent from astern, hitting her with up to 3 bombs, 2 of which exploded but smashed through a machinery space. Several sailors were killed, and her Lynx helicopter and Seacat missile system were destroyed, so the frigate, by now on fire and flooding, moved off to the mouth of San Carlos Water under the protection of other escorting warships. So we can find that attack here, I believe led by Mitt here. It was 3 daggers. They attacked from this angle here, hit Ardent north, and at that point Ardent, realising she was in trouble, started moving towards San Carlos here, but of course famously never made it. The next onslaught saw HMS Brilliant raked with cannon fire, injuring some sailors, but the frigate spotted a second wave of 3 jets approaching and guided in 2 Sea Harriers of 801 Squadron, which brought all 3 aircraft down with Sidewinders. Within half an hour, the final attack of the day was carried out by 2 flights of 3 Skyhawks, and the first 3 finished off the badly damaged HMS Ardent. She was hit by up to 7 bombs, killing more men and almost lifting the ship out of the water. The inevitable order was given to abandon ship as HMS Yarmouth, headed south, went alongside and picked up almost 150 survivors. 22 sailors in HMS Ardent died in the attack, and around 30 were injured. None of the 3 attacking aircraft returned home. 1 was shot by a Sidewinder from 1 pair of 800 Squadron Sea Harriers, and a second fell victim to fire from the jump jets, and a third was too badly damaged to land at Port Stanley and ejected. 15-15, 6 Skyhawks in 3 trios attacking from here, finishing off Ardent and moving west before being shot down. There were 2 other small attacks that happened, but no damage was done and 1 was aborted. Otherwise, that concludes the day's attacks from Argentina, 21st of May 1982. As the air attacks were underway, efforts redoubled to shift as much by way of stores and ammunition ashore as possible, so that the supply ships and merchantmen could leave the confined waters of the Sound and return to the relative safety of the carrier group far out to the east of the Falklands. And this is where the helicopters came in. It was so important to get the stores and the men off the ships as soon as possible. As the various battalions were moved off the ships, a medical team was sent sent to Ajax Bay to set up a field dressing station under Sergeant Commander Rick Jolly. Rick Jolly became instrumental with his medical team saving lives over the next 3 weeks of the war. And although there was still a good deal of stores aboard the auxiliary ships, they sailed away as planned at the end of the first day to safety. The first day of the Battle of San Carlos ended with both sides licking their considerable wounds. In Bomb Alley, the Royal Navy had lost one ship, Ardent, which would sink the following day, while 2 others were badly damaged and essentially out of action, with a further 2 damaged. 3 UK aircraft were also lost on that day, including a Harrier. A Sea King unloading troops from one of the landing ships also went down, killing 20 men sadly. Also, a Gazelle operating San Carlos waters was actually shot down by rifle fire from those guys we mentioned earlier, the Argentinians that retreated into the mountains. They shot the Gazelle down and then, what we believe is against the rules of war, shot the unarmed pilots as they were swimming to the shore. Luckily for the British, the Argentinian pilots had chosen to take on the well-defended warships that day, rather than the easier-to-see, more vulnerable merchant ships, including the bright white Canberra that stuck out like a sore thumb in the midst of the grey warships. This was one of the reasons we were so lucky on this day. Although they did hit and sink warships on this day, all it took was one bomb to hit SS Canberra to set it on fire. Hundreds of men would have been killed, and that would probably have been the end of the war for the British. The British mainland would probably have recalled the amphib fleet. So we're extremely lucky that the Argentinians chose to take on the warships instead of the auxiliary ships. As well as that, a huge amount of luck to the British as well, in that the Argentinians used their bombs wrong. The way the bombs worked that they dropped, they had an aerodynamic screw at the back of the bomb. The airstream twisted the screw. Once the screw was out of the bomb exploded. But it just so happened that a large majority of the bombs that hit British ships were dropped so low that the screw didn't have time to come out. Therefore, the bombs didn't explode and caused only minor damage. Just imagine if the screw had been modified or the bombs dropped at the correct height. Many more ships would have been sunk on that first day, and there's a good chance again that the amphibious attack could have been cancelled. The Argentinians, meanwhile, had lost 14 fixed-wing aircraft, plus possibly 3 helicopters. This attrition continued throughout the war. Tens more of Argentinian aircraft will be shot down over the next few days, but again a massive attrition to the British naval fleet. With nightfall came the relief from the air attacks and a chance for the Royal Navy to reassess the positioning of its ships. More attacks were certain, particularly with Argentina's National Day, the 25th of May, fast approaching. Of course, famously, this is when HMS Coventry was sunk by Skyhawks, and we'll tackle that another day. Welcome in, viewers. First reenactment of the day. We are the 10:30 attack of 2x3 Skyhawks, attacking from the north entry to the Sound, getting past the northern picket and into Bomb Alley. Each is carrying 1,000-pound bombs. Right, this isn't the Sound, is it? No, this isn't the Sound. Keep going.
No, we're on the north coast.
Whole Sound was filled with rifle and GPMG fire that day, and this did actually cause friendly fire in some cases.
Yeah, do we know how much? I'm impressed by all the bullets that were in the air when you watched the video.
Right, and the problem is no one really knew what was friendly fire and what wasn't. The Skyhawks and daggers came in very low, viewers. If you watch the videos from the day, those videos are all on YouTube still. You can see they came in at 50 feet, 60 feet, and of course this is one of the problems with them dropping their bombs too low. I think this is going to be the Sound, isn't it, Matrix?
Negative. We've got another few miles to go yet.
Roger.
Can you see the headland in on 12:30 with the white cliffs?
Yeah.
Yeah, round there.
Argies had just seconds to find their target and bomb it. They didn't really know where each ship was. They didn't have enough information at the time. They just knew roughly where Bomb Alley was. That changed later on. terms of the elevation of the terrain, well, theoretically this is all correct, viewers. This is all modelled as it was on the day. There wasn't as much cover as I thought there was. Just shows how low the aircraft must have been going.
So if the Royal Navy had an AWACS, we'd have seen these probably a lot better than we did.
Huge difference it would have made, yeah. In terms of early warning, it was done by layers, and we'll talk about when we're in the helicopters. It was done by the carrier fleet, it was done by the pickets, it was done by the HMS Brilliant and other ships in the bomb alley, and the fourth layer was ground troops. The SAS was set up on various tactical hills, as I'm sure you all know, on the East Island and West Island, and they would call in attacks when they saw them. So you had 4 different layers of AEW, but yeah, if you had an AWACS like the Americans would have had, it would have been a trillion times easier, because you would have seen all of this. And those AEW...
Right.
Alright guys, I'm going to look for HMS Argonaut. Technically we took Argonaut, but you can attack at will. Oh, is this the sound? Yes, it's the sound. Right, yep. Okay, let's do it. Right, missiles will be in the air.
Ahead.
Attack at will, men. Going for that frigate. I'm going for the frigate. I'm going for the broadside frigate. You guys can go for the stern frigate if you want. Should have done, of course, is go for the auxiliary ships, but they didn't. Something happened.
Cell scene.
Seacat just self-detonated. Seacats. Small arms fire going up. Cap in for the attack. Major's just taking the brunt of it. This thing, I can't get any more knots out of it. Someone's down. Bombs away. I've been hit. And I missed the damn target. Get the chuff out of there. You get one pass and that's it, guys. That's their real life. Try and glide to the coast. West coast. Breakers were being taken to the islands, but they weren't operating on the 21st. Look at that, amazing. To get through, and it shows how dangerous it was for the RG pilots. All this, and we've still got to worry about the Black Death above us. Sea Harriers. Oh, another one of you just got hit, I saw. Oh, man. Shows how brilliant the RG pilots were on the day, and they were excellent apart from their bomb dropping antics. And like I said, we're not even modelling Seawolf or Sea Dart here, which were the best missiles that scored the majority of the kills during the campaign. Right, I'm climbing. Let's see who survived. Wow, Strider went into San Carlos for some reason. Oh, it's because he hasn't got an engine. Wow, we all got shot down.
I'm still up. But my bombs got broken on the way in by getting shot.
Right. I suggest you get out of the Falklands Sound. You don't have to, but it's just my idea. It's going for Sir... Oh! Sir Percival! Ends him. Come on, Strider. Put it down, San Carlos, where the SES are waiting for you. In fact, that's pretty much where the Argentinian Marines were holding out. Right, and that was on easy mode. Like I said, Sea Darts weren't there. Seawolf wasn't there. So it shows how hard it would have been on the day. Next, guys, we're going to be the Sea Harriers orbiting above, waiting to be called down by HMS Brilliant to attack, well, essentially the same A-4 Skyhawks. Welcome back, viewers. We're now in Harriers. We're not in Sea Harriers. We're in AV-8Bs. But to be honest, they're going to operate almost identically to the Sea Harriers. The radar probably wouldn't have been used. Everything was vectored in visually by, at this point, Brilliant. No, sorry, at this point, it would have been Antrim. We're 15,000 feet above the fleet. Unpause, please. Start. Right, stay above 15k, viewers. Pilots. And orbit as best you can. Familiarise yourself. To your right, you'll see the entrance to the north of the sound. That's the north. To your left, you'll see the expanse of the southern part of the sound. As per real life, you have 2 AIM-9 Lima sidewinders and a cannon.
Alright, birds heading to the south of the bay.
Stay in bomb alley, so everything is going to be simulated in bomb alley. So at any point during this part of the campaign, 801 and 800 Squadron would have at least 4 Sea Harriers operating in this area, obviously at this point, to protect the amphibious fleet. HMS Brilliant, Bandit Incursion, 6th ship entering Northern Sound, low level. Right, to the north, everyone to the north, low level.
Head. Just a northeast head entering the sound now.
Yeah, Brilliant's
flares out, flares out.
Visual, once hit.
Matrix in on the first lead 3.
Watch out. Careful not to overspeed your jet. They're making an attack on Brilliant.
Fox 2.
Wow, good. Well done. Sharky Ward, off you go. Right, let's move in on those first 2.
Fox 2.
They're pushing the Black Deaths here, they're pushing to the west. Good shot. Cap coming in.
Fox 2.
Jesus, making short work of these.
Hit.
One's gone high. One's gone high. One's into a dogfight. Jetson his gear. I'm chasing one east. God damn it. Thing happened. Oh, fuck's sake. As soon as I turn the effing camera off. Sea cats everywhere. Oh. Does anyone see any more?
Yeah, I got one on the nose, I think.
Let's go, go, go.
One heading west, back out towards Argentina.
Let's go, 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 go. Max power.
Gunfire from the ships going towards them.
Visual. Son of a bitch, come back. Black Death is all over you. He wants a dogfight. They weren't carrying sidewinders at the time, so I'm not giving them sidewinders. Go on, boys. Go on, boys. Go on, boys.
Flash.
Well done.
Flash.
Well done. I've already checked the map. Yeah, all done. Now that's a perfect scenario, viewers. We were expecting them. I knew exactly where they were going to come from, and the boys sort of knew where they were going to come from. It was much harder in real life.
One thing in real life, though, which was a bit of a problem, I think, was the fact that if the Harriers were allowed to go in and down to attack the aircraft, we may have done better. But I think the doctrine was let the ships do the close-range stuff, so they don't shoot down Harriers, which I think caused some confusion.
Roger. And out of interest, there was friendly fire. Several aircraft were shot down in the campaign by friendlies. Yeah. Welcome back, viewers, and now for our third and final reenactment. It's going to be part of the rotary wing effort to unload stores and troops as quickly as possible and take them into their various landing places. We'll be operating from SS Canberra here, MV Nordland here, HMS Intrepid here, and HMS Fearless here. Guys, the first thing we need to do is to take some troops. I'm taking special forces in mine. Then we're going to meet up at Chanko Point here. At that point, we're going to overfly the various landing craft that are landing the main strength of the battalions. And we're going to head south down here along the coast and landing at Ajax Bay. Ajax Bay is being set up as we speak, and there are 2 field howitzers that need moving. They've accidentally been landed at Ajax Bay earlier in the day. The howitzers need to be picked up and then take them back north. We're then going to take them around Hospital Point here to San Carlos Bay and to what will become known as San Carlos Fob in the next few days. Today I'm going to be in a Huey, that's representing the Wessex 5. Me 8s will be representing the Venerable Sea King. We'll have Gazelles representing themselves. Now, in total, over the campaign, 150 British helicopters operated, and they were absolutely vital. They did any logistics that needed moving, troops that needed moving. The whole mechanism of the war worked on the rotary wing. They were divided generally into 4 segments. Teeny weenies were the Scout and Gazelle helicopters, small helicopters used primarily for casevac and light attack. We had the Junglies, which were the Wessex 5 aircraft and a couple of Wessex 3 aircraft, and the ground-based seeking helicopters. We had the Pingers, which were the anti-submarine seeking. Prince Andrew flew one of those. We had another set, I can't remember what they were called now, but they were the Naval Lynx and Wasp helicopters, anti-ship helicopters.
I'm getting distinct Fortunate Son vibes here.
100%. Oh, I love a good helicopter mission, guys. We're now entering the meetup point, or I'm entering the meetup point. You can see the various types of landing craft. Some were massive and can take 150 troops. So okay. HMS Invincible says Air Alert Yellow. That's the first layer, guys, of our AEW. Air Alert Yellow would be sent out to all helicopters operating, and it would mean that you had 10 to 15 minutes before the spotted aircraft would arrive over the target area. So we can carry on at this point, but we must just be careful. I guess I'm in the lead here, so follow me. I'm going to take us to Ajax Bay and pick up the howitzers. Now these helicopters not only had to take things from ships ashore, but they had to take things from ships to ships. SS Canberra couldn't unload all of its troops, so some of those troops had to be heli-flown in Wessex and Sea Kings to the landing ships, where they would be put aboard their landing craft. And this area of San Carlos at this time would be absolutely flooded with helicopters. And the helicopters' main fear was not the Skyhawks, the Daggers, or the Mirages, or the Aeromerchis. It was the Pucará. They were all terrified of the Pucará, which was excellent at shooting down helicopters, and later, in the war a few days later, did start shooting down helicopters with their guns. Visual Ajax Bay. A massive medic centre was set up known as, what was it, the Red and Green Life Machine, I think it was, guys, where the injured troops would go to. It was kind of a first line. Well, you had a battalion medic point, then you had a regiment medic point, then you had the Ajax Bay, and then the 4th point of medic would be SS Uganda, white and red medic ship. Guys, I've reached Ajax here. Now, if you look carefully at the very tip, you'll see 2 pack howitzers. It would be nice if 2 of you would sling load them, but I'm aware how difficult it is, and as per the real day, we've got up to 15 knot gusts today, so it's going to be extremely difficult, but good clear visibility. Luckily, in the preceding next few days, visibility dropped quite badly, viewers, and it put a halt to a lot of the Argentinian attacks, but there were many other days where Argentinian air attacks happened, and lots more damage was to be done to the amphibious and naval fleet. Right, who's going to try loading?
I've got that one that's got the smoke going right now.
Oh, it blew up. Oh well, we'll pretend you've got it. There's a bug or something going on there, isn't there? Alright, the powers blew up for some reason. Right, let's pretend you two have got it. Guys, we're now heading for San Carlos Port, where we're going to start work on the forward operating base. Let's go, go, go. We're heading to San Carlos Port here, viewers. It was the optimal place to make a forward operating base for the Harriers. They actually constructed a runway. I think it was out of aluminium pads, wasn't it, Matrix?
Pierce steel planking, so steel.
Steel planking, yeah. Where, of course, a helicopter, almost immediately a Harrier crashed and damaged it. That's the realities of war, viewers. HMS Brilliant, the next line of AEW. Air Alert Red. That means that we were just several minutes before the hostile aircraft arrived. It was our choice at this point whether we carried on flying until the Scram command was given. The Scram command was given to all operating helicopters to land immediately. But we're going to go, because our load is so important, we're so close to San Carlos, we're going to go until we get the Scram. SAS on Mount Kent
Oh,
say,
there it is.
alert, scram, scram, scram. Okay, guys, it's now got to find somewhere to put your helicopters down, and this happened multiple times per day. All helicopters operating would have to find a gully in the terrain and find somewhere to hide from the attacking jets. Otherwise they would, and they did get strafed on the way. Right, gully
That's
found.
off the nose.
Targets off the nose, targets off the nose. Find a way of surviving them. Get down. They would get down in their gullies and they would often shut down, sometimes leaving one engine on, allowing a restart. And as I said, it happened many times per day, something we got used to. Several helicopters learned, as they got hit by their own rifle fire from their own guys, to land in gullies that they knew would protect them from friendly fire. Oh, come on, land. I'm trying so hard. Reached limit of skill. Okay, I've got a Sea King down here. Multiple Sea Kings. We're being strafed, the RGs are strafing us. Evade, evade, evade! God damn it! Put it down. Save the troops on board. Free rotor, free rotor. Good flying, great flying. All helicopter pilots have to pass auto rotation courses. You can survive that, they can survive that. Right, guys, go defensive. Find a way of hiding. Find somewhere to hide from these Skyhawks. There's another one coming in.
I hope they practiced their getting out of the helicopter underwater.
Yes, they did. They all had to do dunking courses.
Perfect.
I've turned towards break. What's that? The Harriers are in. The Harriers are in. Black Death are in. I'm going to watch this. I've got a ringside seat, and of course the real helicopters would land in positions where they could watch all of the action of the ships being bombed and the Sea Harriers charging in. Right. We're probably safe now. There's Sharky Ward's here. Anti-ship missile just swung into action and took a Skyhawk down. That was a Sea Cat. 2 Sea Cats out. He's down. Quick Scandinavian flick, viewers. I'll set her down here. Watch out for the old mast bump. Yeah, perfect landing. Best yet. Four left. 4 have been destroyed. Fight, fight, fight. Come on, 801 Squadron. Do your job. Gunfire. From the ships. Wow, some of them have gone all the way out into Bomb Alley. Okay, 1 has fled east. He's going to Port Stanley to land. This guy's been chased by 2 Black Death and going through the task force. Bearing in mind how hard it was for us, I don't rate his chances. Oh, another one goes down. Boom! And Black Death is all over this guy. Oh, shit. One's going for you, bird. Did he get you?
Nope.
Well done.
Try to find a gully still.
Another one's coming for you, bird. Use those houses and trees. Sodding RGs. Guns, guns, guns. Good evasion. That's it. You're in a great spot there. Come on, Sea Cat. What do we friggin' pay you for? Boom! 2 Skyhawks left. One more left.
Go on, Sharky.
Come on.
Come on, Sharky.
Fire the damn missile. Fire the missile.
What are you doing, Sharky? There we go.
Yeah! Smash! 8 Skyhawks down. Great fun, guys. Great fun. That's the end of our reenactment, guys. I just wanted to show a flavour of what it might have felt like in the crazy rush-in by the Argentinian attackers, highly skilled Argentinian attackers, and then the Harriers having to dive down and take those guys down before they did damage, or like Bird said, in reality it was a bit more complex. They would have certain theatres where they could attack, and finally some of the helicopter forces and how they would have to react on the fly to evade being shot down, or in my case being shot down, as we see 801 doing a victory roll past us.